Yes, a very good morning to all of you. Right, so I hope the audio, video, it's all good at the onset today itself. Right, so no technical hassles today. Just wanted a confirmation from your side whether all is good. Right, all of you, yes, all there, sharp 9 o'clock. Right, ready to study ethics. Right, professional ethics, one of the most scoring chapter in the CA final audit paper. Right, so we'll quickly revise whatever we have studied yesterday, discussed yesterday, and then start with our discussion for today. Right, so all of you, just if you could confirm if everything is all fine. Okay, that's great. Right, so we started with our discussion trying to get an outline of the syllabus. Like, we have the 19 chapters given in the study material of the ICAI. So correspondingly, in our books also, we have the 19 chapters divided under the two modules, the module 1 and the module 2. Right, so module 1, you have chapter number 0 to 11. Like 0 is like the basic concepts and all of that, and the important terms and the list of standards. And 1 to 11 chapter is mainly regarding the 46 engagement and quality control standards. Right, so what did we say? The standards which have been issued by the AASB, that is the Auditing and Assurance Standard Board of the ICAI, are called as the EQCS. What is EQCS? Engagement and Quality Control Standards. Right? Engagement. So as a chartered accountant or as a practitioner or as a professional accountant, what are the types of engagements that you can perform? Yes, you can either do an audit or you can do a review, or you can provide an assurance service which is other than audit or review. So that is other assurance, or it could be the related services. Right? Accordingly, we have SA, that is standards on auditing, SRE, that is standards on review engagement, SAE, that is standards on assurance engagement, and then SRS, which is standard on related services. And whatever be the type of engagement you are performing, okay, whether you're doing audit or review or other assurance or related services, you always have to maintain the quality. So for that, we have SQC, that is standard on quality control. Right, so all these 5 varieties of standards put together, we have the 46 engagement and quality control standards. Right, so in the old syllabus there used to be 36, but now 10 which were applicable till May 19 have now been reintroduced into the syllabus. Right, so we have the 46 standards, and then 2 brand new chapters over there. We have, like I told you, the digital auditing and assurance. So earlier, in inter-audit also, you would have studied something called as the automated environment, but that now it has been upgraded to be called as the digital auditing and assurance. And another chapter that is added over there, new altogether, is the ESG and the SDG assurance. Right, that is the environment, social governance, and the sustainable development goals. And then we have the audit of banks and NBFC, public sector undertaking, due diligence, investigation, forensic accounting, group audit, that is the audit of consolidated financial statements, right? Internal audit, right? So those are a few of the other chapters which we also have. Okay, right, we've decided, like, the flow of the class is that we will begin with the last chapter first. Right, so beginning with the chapter number 19, which is on the professional ethics and the liabilities of the auditor. Right, so what if the chartered accountant does not behave professionally? What if he does anything wrong? So we said he could be guilty of the professional misconduct or the other misconduct under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. Right, so we talk about the liabilities of the auditor under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, wherein he would be guilty of the misconduct. And then I told you over there we have the code of ethics, right? So members have to abide. Members means the members of the institute, right? Yesterday we discussed you could be an associate member or you could be a fellow member of the institute. So once your name is entered into the register of member, when you get your membership number from the institute, you become an ACA, that is an associate chartered accountant. And once you are in continuous practice for 5 years, or your experience is considered to be equivalent to that of being in practice for 5 years, though it is less than 5 years, then you could become a fellow member of the institute, that is a fellow chartered accountant. Right, so once you qualify, if you want to do a job, job, then you only need to get your membership from the institute. But if you want to practice, then you'll have to get your membership and also take a COP, that is a certificate of practice from the ICAI. Okay, right. So Chartered Accountants Act, we have the sections of the Chartered Accountants Act, and then we have the 2 schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act, right? The first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act and the second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act, in which we have to discuss the 34 clauses of ethics. But before we come to that 34 clause ka discussion, we have to discuss a few sections of the Chartered Accountants Act, right? So yesterday, like we started with, you know, the motto of ICAI, Esha Supteshu Jagarti, and why like ethics is necessary, because we said it's public interest and credibility on the work being done by CA. And then we took an overview of the code of ethics, that part 1 talks about the fundamental principles and the conceptual framework. Part 2 is for professional accountants in service, right, those who are working. Then part 3 talks about the professional accountants in the public practice, that is the practicing chartered accountants. And then you have the part 4A and part 4B. So part 4 is basically the independent standards, but we said independence when you're doing audit review, that is 4A, and independence when you're doing assurance engagement other than audit review, then it is 4B. Right, then in that case it would be 4B. Okay, right, then we started with our discussion on the fundamental principles, also called as the ethical requirements. So we have this very important term called as ERII. What is ERII? Ethical requirements including the independence. Right, can you shoot it on the what do you say, the chat box? Okay, what are the fundamental principles? Right, because that's the fundamental, that's the base of ethics. Okay, why these ethics have been introduced? In order to ensure that there is compliance with these fundamental principles. And what are those? Yes, you remember how many are there? Okay, 5, which is the first one? Yes, good typing speed, khatakat, khatakat, tak, 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 tak. Right, with the correct spelling. Yes, something you can write in over there. Yes, it starts with, yes, the integrity, then, right, integrity, straightforward, honest and sincere. Then we talked about the objectivity, right, not to compromise on his opinion, no bias in forming of the opinion, no undue influence of others while forming the opinion, right. Then PCDC, that is professional competence and due care, attend and maintain, technically very razor sharp, and also do your work diligently, carefully, not in a haphazard or an unorganized manner. Wonderful. Then confidentiality, not to disclose the secrets of the client, present client, past client, future client, and prospective clients also, right, not to disclose the secrets of the client unless required by law or taken the prior consent of the client, right. And then after that, the last one is professional behavior, that is avoid any behavior which might bring the I'm able to hear, bolo, which might bring the discredit, correct, which might bring the disrepute to the profession. Like you are saying exaggerated claims, disparaging references, some advertisements you are doing, it says, nahi, this is not the behavior of a professional chartered accountant. Okay, right, so those are the fundamental principles. What are those? Integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality, and the professional behavior. Then, along with this ethical requirements, you also have to comply with the requirement of independence. And independence requirement of the auditor is non-negotiable. And non-negotiable, it's like, you know, fixed price and a fixed. Independence ke liye we cannot have any dilution or any compromise when it comes to the independence of the auditor. Independence means that the judgment of a person is not a subordinate to the wishes or directions of another person who might have engaged him or for his own self-interest. And what do we say? Independence is the keystone on which the respect and dignity of the profession is based. And what we want is independence not only of the mind, but also the independence in the appearance. Right? So you say, no, I know I am independent. So that is independence of mind. But the code of ethics says independence of mind. So yes, you should think in your mind that you are independent. But even a, yes, you know the word, you know the term, even the RITP, absolutely right. The reasonable and informed third party should also think that yes, this auditor appears to be independent. Even I would have taken the same decision which this auditor has taken for this particular company, right? So that is independence of mind and independence in appearance. Only when you have these both independence, then you will be able to maintain your integrity, objectivity, and your professional skepticism, right? Your integrity, objectivity, and the professional skepticism, right? So as an auditor or as a chartered accountant, whether you are in practice or whether you are in service, you have to maintain the independence. So how to check, okay, whether I as an auditor, whether I am independent or not? How to check? Yes, tell me the word. Tell me the word. How to check? Keep the hand on the keyboard only. It's like faster swinger first. Tak, 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 tak. Yes. How to check? Independent hai ya nahi hai? Yes. Whether independent or not? Yes, exactly. You need to check whether there are any identify. You know, we said the first, what is it? Identify whether there are any threats to the independence of the auditor. THREATS, right? Whether there are any threats to the independence of the auditor. Is there any khatra, any dhoka, any danger to the independence of the auditor? Right. So threats, we first have to identify the threat, right? So threat, what did we say? There are the 5 types of threats to the independence of the auditor. What are the 5 types of threats? You say, ma'am, all of a sudden, where does your voice go? So I'm listening to you. I want you to say, right? If you're doing your classes, your home, then after the class, your family members should ask you, whom are you talking to? What you are answering to, right? So everybody at home should be able to listen to you, right? So yes. It could be the familiarity threat. It could be the, yes, FSSAI, right? The self-interest threat, the self-review threat, the advocacy threat, and the intimidation threat. Right? So self-interest, you could have a financial interest or an employment interest or a fear of losing the client or a close business relationship with the client, right? Then after that, the self-review threat, wherein the maker-checker concept is getting violated. Okay, you only designed the system and now you are only doing the audit of the system, right? So that is the self-review threat. Then you have the advocacy threat. That means you are in favor of the client. You're advocating on behalf of the client. You're promoting the shares. You're handling litigations. You're lobbying in favor of the client, right? So that's the advocacy threat, right? Then after that, we have the the first one was the familiarity threat. What is the first one? Familiarity threat. So you're having a long association with the client. You're too sympathetic to the client, or you're accepting a lot of gifts or hospitality from the client. So that's the familiarity threat, right? And the last one is the intimidation threat. The client is threatening you. Okay, we will file a case against you. We will reduce your audit fee. We will limit the scope of your work. We will change the auditor next year. We will replace the auditor, right? So all these are what? These are the threats to the independence of the auditor. FSSAI. Yes, familiarity threat, self-interest threat, self-review threat, advocacy threat, and the intimidation threat. Right. So first step, what you have to do, you have to identify the threat. Then once you identify the threat, next what you need to do? Eat it. Right? Eat it. Yesterday we said, no, evaluate, address, and then safeguard. You remember we had written independence threats. From that we take identify, evaluate, address, and safeguard. Right? So next what you do, you evaluate the threat. Yes, what you do, you evaluate the threat. That means you check whether the threat is at an acceptable level. How you check whether it is at an acceptable level? Again, by doing the RITP test, right? Checking with the third party, the reasonable and informed third party, that whether the threat is at an acceptable level. If it is at an acceptable level, finish, no problem, you can continue with the engagement. However, say it is not at an acceptable level, then now what you need to do, you need to address the threat. And now what you need to do, you need to address the threat. So address the threat, what you need to do, you need to put the safeguards, either to reduce the threat or you either need to eliminate the threat. right? So either you eliminate the threat. That means if I am holding one share, I sell off that share. So I have eliminated the threat. Or my relative is holding share of 1,20,000. I told them sell shares of 20,000. So what happened? The threat is reduced. Right? So eliminate or reduce. To reduce, you have to put the safeguards. And if you are not able to eliminate, you're not able to reduce the threat, then what does it say? Decline or end. If you've not yet accepted the engagement, decline. And if you've accepted the engagement, end it. End it means withdraw. That means resignation of the auditor. Right? The auditor needs to resign from the audit. Are you understanding that? And then to address the threat, we said you need to reduce the threat by applying the safeguard. Right? So what safeguards you could apply? What safeguards you could apply, right? Putting additional time, more qualified personnel on the assignment, separating the teams which are providing the consultancy services from the team which is doing the audit work, putting a reviewer apart from the members of the engagement team, involving another firm of CAs in doing the audit, right? Separate rotation of the team members, right? So these are the safeguards which you can put in order to ensure reduce the threat to the independence of the auditor. Right, so all good. And then when we discussed the 5 types of threats, we studied the examples of threats for CA in practice and CA in service. Like while doing a professional service for a CA in practice and while doing a professional activity for a CA in service. Right, so this is what we had discussed, right, regarding the ERII, that is the ethical requirements including independence. Please don't forget that the moment I talk about the word independence, the next term coming to your mind has to be threats. It has to be threats. Okay, you make it like A for apple, like independence is equal to threats. Like that, fit into your mind, because then you will be able to write down the points regarding the independence. Right, clear to all of you? Okay, right. Then after that, we started our further discussion. Okay, when will your name be entered into the register of member? Then associate chartered accountant and the fellow chartered accountant. And then I also showed you the membership fees which you need to pay to ICAI. And then we talked about the disabilities for membership. Okay, when your name will not be taken in the register of members. They will not allow your entry in the register of members. When they will not allow? If you have not cut the cake of your 21st birthday, right? Right? So age less than 21 years. Then second one, mind is like how it is. How is the mind? Unsound mind. And who is saying that? Court, and stands though adjudged by a competent court. Third one, undischarged insolvent. Insolvency proceedings are going on. Fourth one, discharged insolvent but who's not obtained a certificate from the court that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part. And last one, convicted for an offense involving the moral turpitude, which is punishable with imprisonment. Right? Or any of them, it says professional, guilty of professional or other misconduct by the ICAI, the Council of the ICAI. Right? So if these should not be attracted on the day when your name is being entered into the register of member, and any of them getting attracted after your name is entered into the register of member, then your name would be removed from the register of the members. Even if you don't pay your annual membership fees, then again your name could be removed from the register of members. Then later on you pay the additional fee, the entrance fee, your annual fee. Then your name will be restored into the register of members. Right? Then your name will be restored into the register of members. Okay. Right. So are we good? Right, so this is the pattern we'll follow every day. We will do a revision of whatever we discussed the earlier day, and then we proceed with our discussion for the next day. Right, now a sound mind agar hai, so you are allowed to become a member of the institute, but unsound mind hai to nahi, not allowed. Okay, right. So unsound mind, undischarged insolvent, discharged insolvent, not obtained certificate, convicted for an offense, guilty of misconduct, professional or other misconduct. Right, so amazing, good typing speed. Okay. Right, all good everyone? Yes, let's continue with our discussion, right, regarding the ethics. Right, let's continue so that once we finish with these sections, then we can also start with the, the schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act, which is going to be our main area of discussion over there. Okay. So just a moment. Yeah, so let me just put on the screen over there, and now we come to our discussion, right? So yesterday I already discussed with you the membership of the institute. You need to apply for the membership, and then you get your your membership number from the ICAI, right? So you get your name is entered into the register of member. Then disabilities for membership, right? This is what we had discussed yesterday. Like disabilities, when your name cannot be entered into the register of member, right? So recently in one of the RTPs, they put a question regarding this one. So let us just have a quick look at that particular question. Right, all of you seeing this question with me. Mr. Sheetal is a practicing CA. Right, all of you reading with me, able to see it on your screen? Okay, due to natural calamities and misfortune during the year, right, 2021, he lost almost all of his wealth and became undischarged insolvent. After a few court hearings, finally in the year 2023, he was declared a discharged insolvent and obtained a certificate from the court stating that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part. You are required to comment on the above situation with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and schedules thereto, especially from the point of section 8. What is section 8? Disabilities for membership, entry of name in the register of members. Right, so that's a mock test paper question. I told you, right, if there is no reference given after the question, either it's a study material question or a MTP, mock test paper question. Right, so do you see even one line over there, one of the disability for membership, it could be a potential case study in your exam. Right, like this point, he is a discharged insolvent and has not obtained a certificate from the court that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part. Right, then he cannot be entered if he has not obtained a certificate. But if he has obtained a certificate from the court that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part, then can his name be entered into the register of member? Hey, you follow what I say, right? Then in this case क्या लिखा है? He has obtained a certificate from the court stating that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part. So can his name be entered into the register of member? Yes or no? 100%? Yes, 100%? What? Yes, can his name be entered into the register of members? Yes, his name can be entered into the register of members. Okay, right? So section 8, right? That's what you begin your answer with. And then say in addition, so when you are applying to the institute for membership and say your age is only 20 years and you don't disclose this to ICAI, that itself will constitute the professional misconduct. Right? Failure on the part of the person to disclose the fact that he suffers from any of the disabilities would constitute professional misconduct. The name of the person who is found to have been subject at any time to any of the disabilities discussed could be removed. His name could be removed from the register of members by the council. In the given case, it is clearly stated that Mr. Sheetal was a discharged insolvent and he has also obtained a certificate from the court stating that his insolvency was caused by misfortune without any misconduct on his part. Hence, Mr. Sheetal has not violated the provisions of section 8 and he is not debarred from having his name entered in the register of members. This is the writing skills. Okay, see, when you read the provision, now you come to know, okay, allowed hai. ये तो allowed hai. His name is allowed to be entered. Yes, it is allowed to be entered in the register of member. But this writing skills, this articulation skills, the more we read, the more we understand the concept, absorb the subject, you'll be able to write good answers in the exam. Right, so that is one question which was recently put over there. Okay, right, now let's proceed further with our discussion. So we've already discussed regarding the disabilities, right? So disabilities are given in which section? Section 8 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, right? Section 8, which is for the disabilities for the membership, right? And his name would be removed, in case if he doesn't specify, it shall not be entitled. His name would be removed, and a failure to disclose will also constitute a professional misconduct, right? Types of members of the institute, you could be an associate member or a fellow member, right? So once your name is entered in the register of member, you become an ACA, and in continuous practice for 5 years, then you become an FCA, or equivalent to that of being in practice, then again you become the FCA. Right, then removal of name from the register of members, like when would your name be entered? We saw that. But now they are talking about when your name will be removed from the register of members, right? So the council may remove from the register the name of any member of the institute, when he is dead, right? So no longer, right, on this earth, right? So who is dead, his name would be removed. Then from whom a request has been received to that effect. So he says, I don't want the membership of the institute, please remove my name from your register of member. So they say no problem. And India, right, freedom, and you have all the rights, right? So it says you want your name to be removed, no problem, right? Who has not paid any prescribed fee, right? So the annual fee, right, has not been paid by the member, the membership fee or the associate membership fee or the fellow membership fee or so, right, has not been paid, or he has been found, yes, subject to any of the disabilities mentioned under section 8, or for any other reason for which his name should not be there into the register, has ceased to be entitled to have his name born in the register, right? Then your name would be removed from the register of members. When it says once the person is dead, when he sent a request, or he has not paid the fees, or he has been any of the disabilities of section 8 have been attracted, right? So again, the council shall remove the name of the member for whom an order has been passed under this act, right? So say the council has passed an order that this person is guilty of professional or other misconduct and his name needs to be removed. So obviously that person's name would also be removed from the register of members, right? And also the name would be removed from the register of members due to non-payment of the prescribed fee. But then it will be entered again, right? When it will be entered again, when the annual fee, the entrance fee and the additional fee all are paid. Right? So normally what you only need to pay is the annual fee, but you did not pay it. So that's why your name was removed. So now again it is to be entered. So you have to pay the entrance fee, you have to pay the annual fee, and you need to pay the additional fee, right, as may be determined by the council, right? And then your name will be restored into the register of members, right? So restored non-payment of prescribed fee, once you pay the arrears, then your name will be restored into the register of members. Okay, right? Yes, so I hope it's clear. These are a few sections which are there for discussion over there. It's quite easy to understand, right? The restoration of the membership, and then penalty for falsely claiming to be a member. You are not a chartered accountant, but you are telling everyone, "Arey, CA, I am CA." You're not a CA. Nahi likha CA final. Kuch nahi. Articleship, nothing. Telling everyone, "Arey, give me. I'll file your return. I'll do your tax audit. I'm CA." Penalty for falsely claiming to be a member. Right, so one, it says not being a CA, telling everybody that you are a CA, or you are a CA but you are not a practicing CA. Right, you are not a practicing chartered accountant. That means, say you don't have your COP from the ICAI. You are a CA, but you are not practicing. You don't have your COP, but you are telling everybody, "Arey, I am a practicing chartered accountant. Big practice. I have 400 people, staff working in my office." Right, so you're giving false information. Right, so false, falsely claiming to be a member. You're not a CA, but telling everybody I am a CA, or using the prefix CA or designation CA. Or you are a CA, but you're not a practicing CA. You've not taken your COP, but you're telling everybody, "Arey, I am practicing CA. बहुत बड़ा practice है अपना." Right, so what does it say? Right, first conviction, 1,000. Right, subsequent conviction, it says imprisonment and fine or both. Right, so first conviction, fine which may extend up to 1,000, and any subsequent conviction, right, with imprisonment which may extend up to 6 months, or with fine which may extend up to rupees 5,000, or with both. Right, so now 1,000, 5,000, today's time inflation, right? This act was defined in made in 1949. So that time it was a huge amount. So probably when they come up with the new version of the law, they would increase the amount of fine over there. But as of now, it is 1,000 and 5,000, right? But the pain point over there is the imprisonment, which may extend up to 6 months. Are you understanding? So some people would say, no, I am CA. So bole, have you written the exams of ICAI? Well, no. Then no, but I am CA. So bole, how you are CA then? Say, no, I am a cartoon artist. You know that? Okay, so never knew that, oh, cartoon artist is also called, could be termed as a CA. Okay, right. So that is penalty for falsely claiming to be a member, not being a CA, telling everybody that I am a CA, or you are not a practicing CA, but telling everybody that I am a practicing CA. First conviction, 1000. Subsequent, again and again you are doing the same thing. It says imprisonment, which may extend up to 6 months, or fine of up to rupees 5,000, or both. Right, have we done this question of Mr. Sheetal? Yes. So now proceeding further. Right, chartered accountants in practice. Right, so mainly the code of ethics, like it is applicable for CA in service also, but Zada regulate, who is to be more regulated over there is the CA in practice. Okay, right, give me an answer. So when I tell you give me an answer, keep your hand ready on the keyboard or your, what do you say, on your mobile keypad over there. Okay, right. So as a CA, right, say I am a CA, I have got my membership from the institute. I've also taken a COP from the institute, right? That means I am a practicing CA. So I am a CA in practice, right? CA in P. Right, so I am a practicing chartered accountant. I have taken my COP from the institute. Right, I'm asking you the question now, can I represent my client? And I would be having different clients. I'm a practicing CA. So can I represent my client before the various authorities, like mainly the taxation authorities, like the CIT, Commissioner of Income Tax, and so on? I am a practicing CA. I have my COP taken from ICAI, and can I represent my client before the various authorities? Is it allowed for a practicing CA to represent his client before the various authorities? Yes. Have you during your articleship had any experience of representing before the tax authorities, going for the court hearings or so? Right? Because the chartered accountant, he can also send his articles. Right? He can also send his authorized representative over there. Okay. Yes. Yes. So you know the fact. Yes. Practicing chartered accountants, can they represent the client before the various authorities? Like mainly it is the income tax authorities. Right? Can they represent before the various authorities? Yes. Right, income tax authority, financial authorities, right, any regulatory authorities as such. Okay, right. Now say some guilty of misconduct, and that is why my membership is, what you say, they said your name, you cannot practice as a CA, your name is removed from the register of member for 3 months. Example, your name is removed from the register of members for 3 months. So obviously, if my name is removed from the register of member for 3 months, obviously for that 3 months, I cannot continue with my practice also. Right. So my name is removed from the register of members, some guilty of professional or other misconduct. Right. So obviously for those 3 months, can I practice as a chartered accountant? No, I cannot practice as a chartered accountant. Why? Because मेरा नाम ही नहीं है institute के list of members में, right? Name is only not there in the register of member, right? So name is removed from the register of member for 3 months, example. So for those 3 months, I cannot practice as a chartered accountant. So during those 3 months, can I still represent my client before the income tax authority? For those 3 months, when my COP is suspended, and my membership name is removed from the register of member for a period of 3 months. For those 3 months, can I represent my client before these authorities? When I had my COP, I represented. Now I don't have my COP. My COP is suspended. Now can I represent the client before the taxation authorities, any authorities, various authorities? Yes, you understand what I ask you? Yes, you follow my questions, right, everyone? Yes. Not in the capacity as a CA. That means you can represent in any capacity separable from your capacity as a CA. Yes. Can you represent the client before the various authorities when your COP is surrendered? No, you cannot represent the client for the period once your COP is surrendered. Yes, you cannot practice in any capacity separable from your capacity to practice as a member of the institute. Once you are a chartered accountant, you are bound by the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations there too. You cannot put the regulations at naught that, oh, even though if I am not a member, I can practice in a separate capacity. No, you cannot practice in a separate capacity, right? So that's again a case study which is asked by ICAI in the exams, right? So significance of the COP, right? You need to take your COP if you want to practice, and again you need to pay the annual fee, right? What does it say? Once you become a member of the institute, what did I tell you? You are bound by the provision of the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations thereto. If you appear before the tribunal or the income tax representative or so, after becoming a member, you're only doing so in your capacity as a CA. That is why they are entertaining you. Otherwise they'll say, who are you? Right, only in your capacity as a CA, right? Having, as it were, brought himself within the jurisdiction of the CA Act and regulations, he could not set them at naught by contending that even though he continues to be a member of the institute and has been punished from suspension from practice as a member, he would be entitled to practice in some other capacity. It says no, you cannot practice in any other capacity. A member of the institute can have no other capacity in which he can take up such practice separable from his capacity to practice as a member of the institute. Therefore, in a nutshell, a CA whose name has been removed from the membership for professional or other misconduct during such period of removal will not appear before the various authorities, tax authorities or other bodies before whom he could have appeared in his capacity as a member of the institute. Understood? When you read it without getting the gist of it, then it looks, oh my God, ये क्या है ethics में, क्या लिखा है, क्या बोल रहे हैं, ऐसा होता है. But now once I have explained it to you, asked the question, you know the answer already, then is it comfortable for you to read? Why I'm focusing on the language? Because this is what will help you to do the writing in the paper. Only understanding concept, half the battle done. Clear to all of you? Okay, let's come to the question bank. A CA in practice has been suspended from practice for a period of 6 months. During the said period, though he did not undertake the audit assignment since he had surrendered the COP, he appeared before the income tax authority in his capacity as a CA. क्या करे? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty के not guilty. And guilty के not guilty. Guilty or not guilty? 100% guilty. And guilty. वो जैसे क्रिकेट में बोलते हैं ना, out, not out, out, not out. So you say out and a run out and a catch out, whatever. LBW, right? So here you say out. And guilty of professional misconduct. Right? Guilty of professional misconduct. Is it clear to all of you? Okay. The manager of ZXP Private Limited approached CA Vineet in the need of a CO certificate in respect of a consumption statement of raw material. Without having a COP, CA Vineet issued the certificate to the manager of the company, acting as a CA in practice, and applied for the COP to the institute on the very next day to avoid any dispute. तो पहले काम कर लिया, फिर institute you applied for membership. No. Before you issue the certificate for the consumption of raw material, you should be a practicing CA. You cannot issue the certificate and then apply to the institute for the membership or for the COP. Right. So again, clause 122, we are yet to come to it. Clause 1, part 2, second schedule. Later on, when we study it, you will come to know why this reference is coming over here. Because any of the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act you violate, that comes under clause 1, part 2, second schedule. I'll come to that. Right. This clause requires every member of the institute to act within the framework of the CA Act and regulation. Any violation of the Act or regulations, a member would amount to misconduct. In the given case, right, CA Vineet has issued the certificate, right? So therefore, CA Vineet will be held guilty of professional misconduct, right? Will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Clear to all of you? Right? Significance of the COP. Okay, once you are a practicing chartered accountant, you cannot practice in any capacity separable from your capacity to practice as a member of the institute. Once you are a practicing chartered accountant, you cannot practice in any capacity separable from your capacity to practice as a member of the institute, right? Because you're bound by the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations there too. Good, everyone? Okay, right, moving further. Right, so one by one, right, we discuss the membership of the institute, then we discuss the significance of the COP. Now we come to the next discussion over there, section 2.2, which is one of the, hot selling cake over there, right, where mainly the questions come in the exam from this section. Right, section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. What do you mean by deemed to be? Deemed to be, section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. Right, section 2, subsection 2. Of the Chartered Accountants are deemed to be in practice. It is assumed that these are practicing Chartered Accountants. When would it be assumed that you are a practicing Chartered Accountant? Okay, so can the person file GST return after withdrawal of COP? Right, so I will give you the answer for that when we discuss the section 2.2. Right, so because GST return comes under GST practitioner, and once GST practitioner comes under the list of MCOS, so you cannot. Okay, right, so anyways, let me come to the point over there. So section 2.2, which is regarding members who are deemed to be in practice. Deemed to be means it is assumed that you are a practicing CA. When it will be assumed that you are a practicing CA, it says if you provide any of the following services. How you provide these services? Either individually. So I practice as an individual chartered accountant, or I practice as a partnership firm with other CAs. Right, or I practice as an MDP. MDP, any guess who is MDP? Any guesses? Any wild guesses? What is an MDP? Yes, MDP. नाम तो नहीं सुना होगा, I think. And generally they say नाम तो सुना होगा. This one, I don't think so. Right? MDP, yes, multidisciplinary partnership form of chartered accountants in practice. Right? The MDP, the multidisciplinary partnership. Right, okay, now CAs, it's like, if you go to company law, section 141, subsection 1 and subsection 2, 141, subsection 3, yesterday we saw it talks about the disqualifications of company auditor. Right, disqualification. But 1 and 2 talks about the qualifications of the company auditor. Right, what does it say? 141 subsection 1, okay, who can be appointed as an auditor of a company? A chartered accountant. Right, or a firm. Right, a firm where majority of the partners of the firm are chartered accountants practicing in India. Right, in Companies Act 1956, it used to be all partners of the firm are chartered accountants practicing in India. But now what does it say? Where majority of the partners of the firm are chartered accountants practicing in India. That means now CA, you can enter into partnership with the company secretary, with the cost accountant, with the architect, with the actuary and so. Right, so that is MDP, multidisciplinary partnership. But majority, 50% should be chartered accountants. And then subsection 2 says a firm also includes an LLP, but only those partners of the LLP who are the chartered accountants. Right, so only those partners of the LLP who are the chartered accountants. Okay, right, so what am I saying? Okay, if I individually, right, that is as an individual chartered accountant, or in partnership with other CAs in practice, right, so I have a partnership firm with 10 partners, all 10 are CAs in practice, right, so partnership with other CAs in practice, or partnership with members of such other professions as may be recognized by the council, right, as may be prescribed. Right, so such other professions, right? So that's your company secretary, cost accountant, and the others. What does it say? He in consideration of remuneration received or to be received, right? So either I have already received the remuneration or I am going to receive the remuneration. So he, either a member of the institute, listen to me, a member of the institute shall be deemed to be in practice where individually or in partnership with other CAs in practice or members of such other professions as may be prescribed or recognized, he in consideration of remuneration received or to be received, right, does any of the following 4, right, 1, 2, 3 and 4. What am I discussing with you? Section 2.2. Right, section 2.2. Right, so 1, what does it say? Engages himself in the practice of the accountancy, or does the verification, auditing verification of the financial statements and the data, or he renders the professional services, right, which could be rendered by a CA in practice, or he renders such other services which in the opinion of the council may be rendered by a CA in practice. Right, once again, let me consolidate it for you. Okay, when will I be considered to be a practicing CA? When it is deemed that I am a practicing CA, it says when I individually or in partnership with these others for remuneration received or to be received if I engage in the practice of accountancy. Like say I am doing the accounting work for 100 clients and not even a single audit client I have. Still, will I be considered to be deemed to be in practice? Yes. Right, so accountancy. Right, so what does this mean? Okay, if I have my membership from the institute, listen to me carefully, and I have taken my COP from the institute and then I provide any of these 4 services, no problem. That is what ICAI wants. Okay, only practicing chartered accountant should provide these services. You understand that? So I am a CA, I have taken my membership, I have taken my COP, and then I'm doing accountancy services, absolutely fine. But I am a CA and I have not taken my COP and I'm doing accountancy services. It says, Arey, Section 2.2 says you are deemed to be in practice and now you are doing accountancy work without taking a COP from ICAI. That is why you are guilty of professional misconduct. Tell me, have you understood what have I said so far? So having a COP, if you provide these services, fine, absolutely fine. That is what ICAI wants. Okay, only practicing chartered accountant should provide these services. You provide these services without having a COP. Section 2.2 says you are deemed to be in practice. How you provide these services without a COP? That is why now you are guilty of professional misconduct. Do you understand? Any questions, anyone? Any questions? Are you listening? Is it going fine? Yes, समझ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ? The Delhi fellow, I don't see the name coming today. Missing. They come one day, not coming. No, not good. What I told you, every day, discipline, super important. Okay. You have to become a chartered accountant. Only when you study, when you write your exam, you will become a CA. Nobody else. We all will just celebrate and be happy for you. Okay. Right. Yes, all good. You're able to follow what I say? है ना, समझ रहा है ना, ठीक है ना. कहीं पे भी कुछ भी ऐसे थोड़ा नहीं, कुछ कैसे कभी है ना, रेडियो फ्रीक्वेंसी कभी हो जाता है ना, कर ऐसे सम साउंड कम्स, सो जस्ट कनेक्ट टू मी इमीडिएटली. हाँ, देन इमीडिएटली लेट मी नो. ओके मैम, लिटिल you just tell me. Okay, right. So that is members who are deemed to be in practice, right? So engages himself in the practice of the accountancy. So sentence कैसे start होता है? Beautifully. How does it start? A member of the institute. बोलो मेरे साथ. Jai Mata Di nahi. A member of the institute shall be deemed to be in practice when individually or in partnership with CAs in practice or in partnership with members of such other professions as may be prescribed, right? Recognized professions as may be prescribed. He, in consideration of remuneration received or to be received, number 1, engages himself in the practice of accountancy or offers to perform services involving the audit or the verification of financial transaction book records, preparation of financial accounting related statements, right? So auditing verification work, renders professional services or assistance in or about matters of principle or detail relating to accounting procedure or the recording, presentation or certification of financial facts or data. So you're giving accounting expertise guidance to the client, right? Okay, how this accounting is to be done and how this entries, merger ka entry is to be taken also. Or the most important one, this is the hero. This is where the question comes in the exam. Section 224. And a section 2 and then this 4, yes, this clause 4. Right, render such other services as in the opinion of the council are or may be rendered by a CA in practice. Right, render such other services. Then what does who says? As in the opinion of the council. Right, so what council has done? They have passed a resolution saying what? That the entire range of the management consultancy and other services, MCOS, will be included in the list of the other services. Right? So it says renders such other services. So other services includes the management consultancy and other services. And management consultancy and other services includes the following. You understand? 224 says other services. Other services includes management consultancy and other services. And management consultancy and other services includes the following. Right? It includes the following. What does it say? It does not include the function of statutory, periodical audit or the tax, direct, indirect tax audit or representing before the authorities. Because that's not your consultancy work. That is your hardcore, what you say, your main practice as a chartered accountant. That is not consultancy. If I do a tax audit, if I do a stat audit, that's not consultancy. That's my assurance services. That does not come in my consultancy services. Right? So it says that shall not include the function of statutory or periodical or tax audit also or representing before the tax authorities. We just said that you are doing it in your capacity as a practicing CA. Okay, right. So what does management consultancy and other service includes? Number one, right? We have some 27, 28 points over there. Right, number one, the financial management planning and the financial policy determination. Right, so now, how does the question come in the exams? Are you all listening to me? Right, listening? Okay, right, how does the question come in the exam? Right, CA Natraj, and any CA you can take, say CA Natraj, right, a practicing CA. Right, CA Natraj is a practicing CA or is a CA in practice, and he is doing financial management planning for his clients during the year. Right, CA Natraj is a practicing chartered accountant and he is doing FMP. What is FMP? वो यहाँ पे list में first point था ना, financial management planning for his client during the year. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and the schedules thereto. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations thereto. Right, and the schedules thereto. Right, is CA Natraj guilty or not guilty of professional misconduct? Tell me quickly, guilty or not guilty? CA Natraj, a practicing CA, has done financial management planning for his clients during the year. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act whether CA Natraj is guilty or whether CA Natraj is not guilty of professional misconduct. Right? Is Natraj guilty or not guilty of professional misconduct? Yes, wonderful. He is not guilty of professional misconduct. Why he is not guilty of professional misconduct? Because as per section, how you will write the answer now? As per section 224, a member of the institute shall be deemed to be in practice when individually or in partnership for remuneration received or to be received renders such other services, because I have written 4. Right, so I'll write renders such other services. Then I will say the Council of ICAI has passed a resolution that the term other services includes the management consultancy and other services. Then I will say that management consultancy and other services includes the financial management plan. Then I will write in the given case, CA Natraj has done the financial management planning which is included in the list of MCOS, and therefore CA Natraj is not guilty of professional misconduct. Or I can say there is no violation of the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act or the regulations there too. Right? There is no violation. Are you understanding that? Right? This is how the questions are framed in the exam. This means what? Okay, I need to know the list of MCOS very properly, because they will just pick up one point from here and say, if CA has done this work, is he guilty or not guilty? Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act. You understand that, right? They say working capital management, or they will say budgets, capital, CA is preparing capital budgets, revenue budget. You understand how they will take a point from here and they could make a case study in the exams, right? So you should be having a good understanding of this list, right? Clear to all of you? You understand that? Okay, right. So now if I happen to look at the list, right, what does it say? Financial management planning, capital structure planning, advice regarding raising finance, working capital management, project report, feasibility study. And then there is a 4 asterisk, star mark done over there. It says considering the tax implications of the above is also included in MCOS. Right, so tax implications of the above, preparing cash budget, cash flow statement, profitability statement, sources and application of fund, budget including capital budget, revenue budget, Those of you who've studied or started studying the other subjects of CA final, or what you've studied in CA intermediate, any subject name is coming to your mind? And I say capital structure and working capital and cash budget and sources and application of funds and capital budgeting and revenue budget and something. Yes, certainly. What is coming to your mind is the subject of the, yes, the SFM, right? Your strategic financial management or your advanced financial management over there, right? So all your CA final subjects are there in the list of the MCOS, right? Then inventory management, material handling and storage, right? FM, exactly, right? So inventory management, right? So you're doing the management, client has huge amount of inventory, material handling, market research and demand studies, right? So now what happens now, sometimes you think logically, okay, I'm practicing CA who, but then you'll say, why would a practicing CA would go and do market research? Okay, how many people are using smartphone and which type of phone do they prefer and what type of features they want in the phone? So you have to know what is there in the list of the MCOS over here. Okay, can a practicing CA do market research and demand studies? Yes. Rather, if you are a CA and you do market research and demand study and you don't have a COP, you will be guilty. Barabar, na? Because if I do the market research and demand, it is there in the list of MCOS, that is other services. And if I provide other services, I am deemed to be in practice. So if I do that without a COP, I'll be guilty. Having a COP, if I do market research and demand, no problem. That's what the institute wants. Okay, right. So that is regarding the market research price fixation. So market research kiya, fir bola ki you can sell your packet of biscuit or this phone at a particular phone, whatever research has been done at so and so price. For management accounting system, then how to control the cost, right? So cost control methods and MIS, management information and reporting. Personal recruitment and selection, right? So this is the question they've asked in your exams a few times, right? That a CA in practice has done personal recruitment, that your client is telling, array, we require 10 engineers in our office. CA says, no problem, I'll recruit 10 engineers for you, right? So personal recruitment and selection, right? CA is doing. Then after they are recruited, CA is also giving them the training. He's designing and conducting the training program, right? He's doing the work study, job description, job evaluation, and evaluation of workload, right? Is it allowed for a practicing CA to do the, what you say, the personal recruitment and selection services? Yes, right? So if you look at the question over here, what does it say? Question number 1, right? Read everyone. 1998, 2007, and then 2015, right? You know what historical questions we have over here, and but historical also comes sometimes in the exams later on, right? SG, a practicing CA, are you reading question number 1? Yes, everyone, are you reading? Are you able to read it? Enough visibility, or do you want me to put only the screen over there? Agreed to select and recruit personnel. Yes, conduct training program for and on behalf of the client. Is it allowed? Yes. So any guilty? No guilty. So how does your answer start? Under section 224, a member of the institute will be deemed to be in practice. Next line, pursuant to section 224, the council has passed a resolution permitting a CA in practice to render the entire range of the MCOS. The definition of the expression MCOS includes, yes, it includes personal recruitment and selection. Personal recruitment and selection includes, क्या मस्त है ना, other services. Other services includes MCOS. MCOS includes personal recruitment selection. Personal recruitment selection includes design and conduct of training program, work study, job description, job evaluation, and evaluation of workload in the given case. Right? CASG, a practicing CA, has agreed to select and recruit personnel, conduct training program for and on behalf of the client, which is within the meaning of the management consultancy and other services. In view of the above facts and circumstances, CASG is not guilty of professional misconduct. Right? Absolutely confident regarding writing the answer if a question on this one comes in the exam. Getting the knack? Yes, everyone? Are you getting the knack of how the answers are to be written in the exams? Able to follow? क्या लिखा है वहां पे? What is written over there? Content is making sense? Right? There should be no writing lacuna and no deficiency in your writing skills. Because 100 marks of the paper is not MCQ. 70 marks is theory part of the paper. You follow what I say? Okay, amazing, wonderful. Right, so proceeding further. Let's go up. Right, so we have, I told you, some 28 points over there in the list of the MCOS. ठीक है, तो हम लोग कहाँ तक आ गए थे? Personal recruitment and selection. Okay, so first you prepare their budget, then you help them with inventory management, then you do the market research, then you decide the price, then you do the cost control, then you do the MIs. You say, client, what you are doing? Everything we are only doing for you. Okay, right, then you design the control methods, then you recruit the people, then for those people you set the incentive plan, then after that you see, array, these people are not doing the work properly, management is not proper, operations are not proper, so you do the management operational audit. Then they decide कि now we want to sell off our company, अभी बहुत business का value बढ़ गया, so then CA is appointed to do the valuation of shares and business and advice regarding amalgamation, merger and acquisition. Right, so CA is appointed for this. That is also included in the MCOS for advice regarding amalgamation, merger, acquisition or so. Then acting as an RV, registered valuer. Right, so this is relatively a new addition in the list of MCOS as compared to the other points over there. Right, so can a practicing CA also act as a registered valuer? Yes. It is included in the list of the MCOS, right? So registered valuer under the Companies Act, right? So you can just highlight that point and probably write over there new, not very new, not like brand new, but yeah, relatively new. Right, acting as a registered valuer, right? Then business policy, corporate planning, organization development, growth and diversification, then organization structure, behavior, development of human resources, design and conduct of training program, right? Then after all the training program done, abhi system pe aa gaya, abhi logo ka kaam ho gaya. Now coming to the system analysis and design, computer related services, including selection of hardware. So you're telling client, you purchase this keyboard, you purchase this mouse, this computer, this monitor, this camera, right? So selection of hardware and development of software in all areas of services which can otherwise be rendered by a CA in practice, and also carry out any other professional services relating to EDP. EDP, that is the enterprise data processing. Right, next one, again an important one from the case study viewpoint, acting as an advisor or a consultant to an issue. Right, what issue are they talking about over here? Acting as an advisor or a consultant to an IPO or an FPO, right? Any initial public offer or further public offer, right? So can a CA associate when a client is coming up with a IPO, right? Can he associate with them? Right? Can he provide some advisory, some consultancy services at that point of time? Can he help them with the preparation of the budget? Can he help them with the drafting of the prospectus, with the selection of the brokers, with the contract with the advertisement agencies? Yes, right? So pre-issue, post-issue activities, with all this, the CA can provide the consultancy services, right? So acting as advisor or consultant to an issue, including drafting of prospectus, memorandum and containing salient features of the prospectus, drafting and filing the listing agreement, right, with and completing formalities with the stock exchanges, ROC and SEBI, preparation of a publicity budget, advice regarding arrangement for selection of ad media, centers for holding the conferences, bankers to the issue, collection centers, brokers to the issue, so helping in selection of all of these, underwriters, underwriting arrangement, distribution of publicity issue material, including application form, prospectus, brochure, and deciding on the quantum of the issue material. Then advice regarding selection of various agencies connected with the issue, namely the registrar to the issue, printers and advertising agency. Then advice on the post-issue activities, so pre, during and post. Right, follow-up steps which include listing of instruments, dispatch of certificates and refund, right, in case if shares are not allotted, with the various agencies connected with the work. Right, so all this work, IPO related work, pre, during and post, all this work, can it be done by a practicing chartered accountant? Yes, it is included in the list of MCOS. What is included in the list of MCOS? AC. What is AC? Acting as an advisor or a consultant to an issue. Acting as an advisor or a consultant to an issue. But what is not allowed? What is allowed? Acting as an AC. And installing an AC is allowed. Not installing AC, but acting as an advisor, consultant to an issue is allowed. But what is not allowed? Going to the pub is not allowed. Right? Going to the pub. What is that? Broking, underwriting, and portfolio management services. Right? So that is portfolio management services, underwriting, and the broking. Can CA help the client with the selection of broker? Yes. But can he himself become the broker? No. Right? Can CA do the underwriting for the IPO? No. Right? If a client is having 20 crore rupees with them, client says, I don't know how to invest this money. CA, you take this money and manage my portfolio. No. Yes, broking, underwriting, and portfolio management services not allowed. Favorite area for question by ICAI. So AC is allowed. You're allowed to install an AC at the client premises, advisor, consultant to an issue. But are you allowed to go to the pub? No, that's not allowed. Broking, underwriting, and the portfolio management services not allowed. Is it clear to all of you? Right? Yes. Now look at the next point after that. Okay, portfolio management not allowed. Okay, my client is having 20 crore and they are saying, okay, CA, please manage my 20 crore rupees and you manage the portfolio, not allowed. But my client is having 20 crore and they are saying, CA, kaise invest karu ye? So you are saying, giving them counseling, okay, put so much in real estate and gold and Bitcoin and crypto and startup and venture and all of that. Right? So he's doing investment counseling. Is that allowed? Huh, that is allowed. You give me your money, I will manage it for you, not allowed. This is your money, this is how you should invest it. Is that allowed? Yes, that is allowed. Portfolio management not allowed, but investment counseling allowed. Are you understanding that? Okay. Yes. So now I'll take you to the question bank. Yes, जाना पड़ता है, फिर ही समझता है ना क्या क्वेश्चन आया एग्जाम में. ठीक है. Read question number 2, everyone. Everyone, sit straight. Read question number 2. Read question number 3. पढ़ो. पढ़ेगा इंडिया तभी तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया. चलो पढ़ो. Read. You'll say, ma'am, you read, we'll listen. So lazy, no? Read. Listing of instrument, dispatch of certificate with the various agencies. Acha, looking to the growing needs of his client to invest in the stock market. He also started advising them on Gaya portfolio management services, whereby he managed the portfolio of some of his clients. And abhi aise, when you start studying ethics, you start thinking like you are an umpire over there. Out, not out, out, not out. Okay, right. So in the given case, he's done portfolio management. Therefore, Sam would be held guilty of professional misconduct. Read next one. Question number 3. C. Nataraj. Nataraj in practice accepted an assignment as advisor and consultant to the issue. Very good. Is it allowed? Yes. AC is allowed. Advisor, consultant. Besides helping the company as an advisor, he also underwrote. Hai Ram. Gaya. He underwrote the public issue. Remaining shares were underwritten. He contends that the above assignments are a part of management consultancy. Do you agree with the view of Nataraj? Decide in light with the decide in the light of the applicable code of conduct or the code of ethics. Right? So in view of this, C.A. Nataraj would be held guilty of misconduct or guilty of professional misconduct under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. You get everyone? You understand? Right? So AC installation allowed, but pub going not allowed. Broking, underwriting, portfolio management services not allowed. Okay. Investment counseling allowed. Right. Then Acting as registrar to an issue, वो तो IPO work हो गया, so that is allowed. Quality audit, yes, कि quality of the client operations and all allowed. Management operational audit also we had seen upstairs, it was allowed. Environment audit, ke how much environmental harm and environmental liabilities allowed. Energy audit, ke energy efficiency utilization of the client, is it allowed? Yes. Recovery consultant in banking sector, is it allowed? Yes. Recovery consultant, not recovery agent. Okay, say bank is having a lot of NPAs. They say, Arey, how to recover this NPA, yaar? Such so long, 2 years, 5 years, they are NPA, non-performing asset. So CA is giving them advice. You know, this is how you can recover your NPA. Right? So he is the recovery consultant. He's not saying, okay, don't worry, I will recover the NPAs for you. No, he's not a recovery agent. He is a recovery consultant and he is charging the consultancy fees for the same. Right? So recovery consultant in banking sector allowed. Insurance financial advisory services under the IRDA Act, including the insurance brokerage. Right? So your client is having assets of 200 crore, fixed assets and current assets, or non-current assets and the current assets. They want to take an insurance for all of them. They are not understanding which type of comprehensive insurance policy they should go for. So they take the advice of CA, and CA says, you know, this is how you should take the insurance cover. And for that, CA charges the insurance brokerage. He is giving the insurance financial advisory services. Okay, this is how you should get your assets insured. He is not insuring them. He is not an insurance agent. He is not getting the insurance commission. Later on, we'll see that only life insurance agency for the limited purpose of getting renewal commission is allowed in one of the clauses later. But right now, right, you are acting as an insurance agent? No. What does it say? Insurance financial advisory services. And getting the insurance brokerage, not the insurance commission, right? That would be allowed. Then what I told you, what is the new one over there? Acting as an RV. RV are the registered valuer under the Companies Act 2013, right? And second one, what is new over there is acting as an IP, that is an insolvency professional. Right, so acting as an IP, that is an insolvency professional. So again, there you can mention new, right? Recent, right? Acting as an IP. Right, and then the next new over there, right, one more. So RV is new, that is registered valuer. IP is new, that is the insolvency professional. And then you have the administrative services. Okay, so now say there is a practicing chartered accountant. Right, say there is a practicing chartered accountant, and now this practicing chartered accountant is having a client, and this client is telling, okay, CA, I want you to do some word formatting work for me. You understand Word, Microsoft Word, word formatting. Like, I want you to make the font as Arial, at some places font size 10, some places font size 12, some places I want it to be in blue color, some I want it to be in like a red color, then some of it should be in a bold, and some of the content should be italics, and some should be underlined, and all of that, right? Somewhere you need to make the tables, and you need to put the bullets and all of that. Word, this is all the formatting which you can do in Word. So now CA in practice, they are telling, okay, and a Microsoft Word ka thoda ye, control B, control I, control U, and then a font size increase and decrease, and color blue, red, and all of that. Practicing CA is doing this. I know. You'll say, ma'am, did I write CA final and go through the entire rigorous process of chartered accountancy to do this in my life? No, you need to decide what you need to do in your life. Okay, right. So anyways, over here it says all this work is being done by the CA. Does he need to have a COP even to do this work? You say, ma'am, this work is so clerical. You'll say, ma'am, this work is so mechanical. This work is so, mechanical. Right? This work is so routine in nature. Ma'am, there is limited or no judgment involved. And I don't need to apply any brain in doing this work. And just, it's mechanical, robotic work over there. Right? Does a CA need a COP even for doing the word processing, word formatting services? Yes, does he need a COP? Yes. Why? Because now in the list of MCOS, they have also included the administrative services. ICAI is yet to ask a question on this one in the exam. I am waiting to see a question on this one. Sooner or later, when they come to ask a question on section 2.2, it should be a question on the administrative services, right? Because that is an untested area so far. Right, so what does it say? Administrative services. Administrative services involve assisting client with their routine or mechanical tasks within the normal course of operation. Such services require little to no professional judgment and are clerical in nature. Clerical, routine, mechanical, limited, no judgment, no brain required. Is it included in the list of MCOS? Yes. Right. What are the examples of administrative services? Word processing services. The example I gave you. Right. Then preparing the statutory form, like, filling up a form for the client, some ADT, some forms the client needs to file. So filling up those forms, then submitting those forms, then reminding the client that today is the due date for this form. All this that says comes in your administrative services. Okay, filling a form, submitting the form, reminding the client of the due date, and GST practitioner. So the student who had asked the question, GST return, it says you will be deemed to be in practice. So you cannot provide it without a CO once you are a chartered accountant. Right, so what does it say? GST practitioner, right? Even that will be included in the list of the administrative services, right? So furnishing the detail, monthly, quarterly, annual return, deposit for credit into the cash ledger, claim for refund, application, cancellation of registration, information for generation of e-bill, challan, and filing for the enrollment under the schemes also, right? All this comes under the list of the administrative services. So even GST practitioner is included over there. Yes, do you understand that, everyone? Right, so good for all of you, the entire list of the MCOS, right? So section 2.2, but in 2.2 also our focus is mainly on section 2.2.4, which is regarding members who are deemed to be in practice when they provide the other services. And then other services include management consultancy and other services. It includes the AC installation, but it does not include the pub going. Right, not yes, AC, advisor, consultant to an issue allowed, but broking, underwriting and portfolio management services not allowed. RV allowed, IP allowed, then administrative services allowed, word processing services included, right, in the list of the MCOS. What is PUB? Yes, the portfolio management services, underwriting and the broking, right? So broking, underwriting and portfolio management services are not allowed. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, right. After 2.2.4 and after other services, you see a small point over there written as the explanation. Okay, do you know how many articles can be taken under one practicing chartered accountant? Practicing CA, can they have articles registered under them? Yes. So maximum how many articles can be taken under one CA? $100. Oh, my God, she'll go crazy handling 100. Oh, 1,000. इतने लोग तो सीए भी नहीं करते. If every CA starts taking 1,000 over there, okay. Yes, depending upon the years of experience, accordingly they can take from 1, but the maximum number of articles they can take is 10. Okay, like so say if there are 20 partners in a firm, example, so say all of them are having the experience for taking 10 articles. So 20 partners into 10 articles. So the entire firm can take the 200 articles over there. Okay, but the, the supply is much more than the, the provision, like only 200 you can take, but there is many more articles who want to get themselves registered, right? So now in say example, in this particular firm, there are 20 partners, right? So these are the partners, but they also have 400 employees, example, who are CA in service. So 20 are the partners of the firm and 400 are the CA in service. And out of that CA in 400, say 200 have been working with the firm for more than 2 years, right? So those 200 working in the CA firm as an employee, they are CA in service. They are actually CA in service. They are not practicing chartered accountants, but they will be deemed CA in service. Okay, you are an employee of Deloitte, example, working in Deloitte for more than 2 years. So you are a CA in service. You will be deemed to be in practice for the limited purpose of training of the article assistants. Right? You'll be deemed to be in practice. So even under the employee of Deloitte, example, there could be 1 article registered. Under the employee, maximum 1 article. So 200 employees, under each of them, 1 article registered. So 200 more articles can be taken. So under the partners, they took 200 articles, and under the 20 partners, and now under their employees, they can further take the 200 articles. Yes, 1 article per employee. So will be deemed to be in practice for the limited purpose of training the article assistants, because they wanted to increase the base. Right, so generally, like, we generally say that you are doing your articleship under a principal, that is the partner of the firm, but you could be also an employee of the CA firm under whom who could be your principal for the purpose of your articleship. And mainly you see this in the Big Four. But just as a general point, I'm saying that it's better to be registered under a partner as compared to an employee, because employees, they keep on switching jobs, and the moment that employee switches the job, you are under an hassle. My principal is going now, what about me? Then you search for another employee or another vacancy, and then you need to get the transfer done and all of that. But yeah, whatever it be, but that's the provision over there. So I just wanted to explain this point to you. Right? So an associate or a fellow of the institute who is a salaried employee, so salaried of a CA in practice or a firm of CA consisting of 1 or more CAs and members of other professional body, because I told you now you can make the MDP, multidisciplinary partnership, notwithstanding such employment. So forget that he is a CA in service, will be deemed to be in practice for the limited purpose of training of the article assistant. You understand that? Right? For the limited purpose. There are a lot of detailed rules and regulations for that, but yeah, that's the provision. Okay, right. Then say a CA in practice is also working with the armed forces. So for the period, say like 3 months in a year, you work with the armed forces, like say you are in Punjab or some of those areas or any part of the country, and you go to work with the armed forces. But you are actually a practicing CA, but 3 months in a year, you go for working with the armed forces. It says, don't worry, while you serve the nation, nothing will happen to your COP. You will be continued to be deemed to be in practice. Right? So the period which you serve with the armed forces, it says no problem, you will be deemed to be in practice. Right, member of the institute is deemed to be in practice during the period he renders services with the armed forces. Right, then I say that I am a CA and I am doing accounting work for 100 clients, not even a single audit client. Say I'm just doing accounting work. I just do accounting work. Will I be deemed to be in practice? It says yes. An act of setting up an establishment offering to perform accountancy services would tantamount to being in practice, even though no client has been served. So you cannot say, "Arey, but मैं तो कोई audit तो नहीं कर रही हूँ," but फिर भी deemed to be in practice. क्योंकि पहला point ही क्या है? 221 engages himself in the practice of accountancy. Right, engages in the practice of accountancy. Then, in addition to my practice as a CA, in addition, I am a practicing CA. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or accountancy, auditing, verification, professional services, other services. In addition to that, I can take up any one of the following, capacity. Right? 1, what does it say? Pursuant to 224, a member will be deemed to be in practice if he, in his professional capacity, right, neither in his personal nor in his capacity as an employee. So not as an employee or not in a personal capacity, but as a practicing CA, acts as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, receiver, advisor, representative before the various authorities. I think I discussed this point with you. Representation before the tax authorities. And when your COP is surrendered, you suspended, you cannot represent before the authorities. But if you have a COP, then can you represent the client before the tax authorities or the costing or the financial authorities? Yes. Right, so this entire lot you can select. Okay, trustee, liquidator, executor, administrator, arbitrator, receiver, representing before authorities, yes. Or you can take an appointment as the central government is made by the central government, state government, or any court. That means you can become take part in any court proceedings over there, right? So on where you're appointed by the central government, right? So as a central government officer, you're appointed over there. Or you can act as a secretary unless this employment is on a salary come full-time basis. So it should not be on salary come full-time basis. It should be on the contract basis, right? So one of the three. So you practice as a CA. In addition to that, you can act as a receiver, liquidator, trustee, executor, that first lot, or you can be appointed by central government or state government, or you can act as a secretary on a contract basis. It says or, so any one of the three, in addition to your practice as a CA. So say I am practicing as a CA and I'm also appointed by the central government, then that's it. That's my combination. That's what's the combination for me. Say I am a practicing CA and I represent before the authorities. Okay, I am trustee, liquidator. That entire thing is allowed. The entire first thing or the second or the third one. Generally CAs, we see the first one. Representing before the tax authorities and acting as liquidator, trustee, executor, and so. Yes, clear to all of you? Getting that? Okay, right. Then now we need to, what they've done, no, now company law has been deleted from the syllabus, right? The Companies Act discussion from section 138 or 139 to 148. So now that discussion, they've introduced it over here, right? So earlier they just had a reference of 144, but अब उन्होंने क्या किया, 144 यहीं discuss कर लिया. Why they discussed it? Because now company audit chapter not there. Right. So what does it say? The above provision, okay, CA can do management consultancy services, but is to keep in mind the provisions of section 144. At section 144 of the Companies Act 2013. Right. So say I am a statutory auditor of a company. If I am so generally we'll take the name of our CA as CA Sparkle. So the name of the CA firm will be Sparkle and Company, and say the name of the client, as I told you yesterday, it is Growth Limited. Growth Limited. Right. So say Sparkle and Company is appointed as the statutory auditor for Growth Limited. Can they be appointed? Right, CA, individual or a firm, LLP, can they be appointed as the statutory auditors of Growth Limited? Yes. Okay, now Growth Limited wants the statutory auditor also to do their tax audit. Growth Limited wants that statutory auditor, you only do our tax audit. Can he do that? Statutory auditors, can they be also appointed as the tax auditor? Yes or no? Answer. I'll drink water till then. H2O. Yes. Good morning. Okay. Yes. Practicing CA, statutory auditor, he is appointed as of Growth Limited. Can he also be appointed to do the tax audit of Growth Limited? Yes, he can be appointed. Can statutory auditor be appointed to do the tax audit? Yes. Internal auditor cannot be appointed to do the tax audit. We'll see that later. Internal auditor cannot be appointed. But statutory auditor, can he be appointed to do the tax audit? Yes. So this is other services to be rendered by the CA. So these other services to be rendered by the CA are to be approved by the audit committee or the board of directors, as the case may be. Why they say audit committee or the board of directors, as the case may be? Because every company is not required to constitute an audit committee. So companies like listed company, then every public company having paid up share capital of more than or equal to 10 crore, or having the turnover of more than or equal to 100 crore, or having in the aggregate the loans, borrowing, debenture deposits of more than or equal to 50 crore is required to constitute an audit committee. That is given under section 177. So if the company is required to constitute an audit committee, then audit committee. If audit committee is not required to be constituted, then the board of directors will approve such other services. Right? So any other services to be rendered by a statutory auditor of the company, they have to be approved by the audit committee or the board, as the case may be. Right? But this list of other services cannot include the following. So we have a list of the prohibited services. That is, these services cannot be provided by the statutory auditor of the company, to the holding company, and to the subsidiary company. Right? So if I am the statutory auditor of Growth Limited, I cannot do the following services for Growth Limited, holding company of Growth Limited, and the subsidiary company of Growth Limited. Right? What are those services which are not allowed to be provided by the statutory auditor? Accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit. Right? Accounting and bookkeeping and the internal audit. Design and implementation of the financial information system and the outsourced financial services. Right? Then you have the investment advisory services, investment banking services. Right? So investment advisory services and the investment banking services. Right? Then you have the management services, the due diligence, and any other services as may be prescribed. Right? These services cannot be provided by the statutory auditor of the company, to the holding, and to the subsidiary. Apart from these, any other services to be provided, they have to be approved by the audit committee or the board. But those other services cannot include these services. Why? Because these are prohibited services. You appoint another company, Joy and Company, Happiness and Company, Smile and Company, but not Sparkle and Company. Right? Because Sparkle and Company is your statutory auditor. They cannot provide the following 9 services to company, holding company, and the subsidiary company. Apart from these 9, any other services to be provided by the statutory auditor have to be approved by the audit committee or the board of directors, as the case may be. Right? Do you understand that? Prohibited services. So section 144 prescribes certain services not to be rendered by the auditor. So your auditor is the statutory auditor. An auditor appointed under this act shall provide to the company only such other services as are approved by the board or the audit committee, as the case may be, but which shall not include any of the following services, whether such services are rendered directly or indirectly. That means through your network firm, or you've created another firm for same. So directly or indirectly to company or its holding company or its subsidiary company, namely accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit, design and implementation of financial information system, outsourced financial services, right? Investment services and the investment advisory services and the investment banking services. And then you have the management services and the actuarial services, right? So here after management services, I need to mention the actuarial services, right? So not due diligence, it is the actuarial services and any other kind of services as may be prescribed. Right? And any other kind of services as may be prescribed. Right? What is the list of prohibited services? Once tell me. Yes, accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit, first lot. Then design and implementation of the financial information system and the outsourced financial services, second. Then investment advisory services, investment banking services, third. Fourth, actuarial services and the management services, and then any other kind of services as may be prescribed. And any other services apart from this, they have to be approved by the audit committee or the board of directors as the case may be. Right? So that is section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. Right? Clear all of you? I think we've had a look at the entire question bank already. Okay, that's great. Oh my God, can you believe it? We've already reached to the 19th page. We are super. Huh? Very nice. Very nice. Yes, all of you. All good? Padhe? Aage? Stamina of sitting, listening at one place has to increase day by day, minute by minute, till the time you become a CA. Very important. Yes. Yes. Okay, realigned and all fine like this. Right, writing in the notebook. You know section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. All good. Yes, audio, video, all fine. No challenges today. Right? YouTube fellows, I'm waiting for you to come on the software, because only for today it's also on YouTube. From tomorrow only the software. Okay. Yes, got all the points of the management consultancy and other services. There's a list of 28 points over there. We went through the entire point, all the points. It's just your list of CA final syllabus, right over there. Then we said AC allowed, advisor, consultant to an issue allowed, but broking, underwriting and portfolio management services not allowed. Okay. Serving with the armed forces allowed. Then CAs in service deemed to be in practice for the limited purpose of training the article assistants. Okay. Then only accountancy work, no clients of, still deemed to be in practice. But when you're providing these other services, you have to take care of section 144. Okay, if you're the statutory auditor, there is a list of prohibited services. Right, there is a list of the prohibited services. Okay. Yes. No typing? Why no typing? Type no, write something over there. No problem. Okay, right. So now coming to the further discussion over there. I just discussed with you, okay, so let me take this point and then connect it with another point over there. Right, so I just discussed with you sometime back the qualifications of the company auditor under section 141, subsection 1 and subsection 2. Right, we have the qualifications of the company auditor who can be appointed as an auditor of a company, a CA, or a firm where majority of the partners of the firm are chartered accountants practicing in India. And then subsection 2 says that a firm includes an LLP, but only those partners of the LLP who are the chartered accountants. Right, only those partners of the LLP who are the chartered accountants. Are you getting that? Okay, right. So now say I am to be appointed as the auditor, statutory auditor, say example of Growth Limited. Right, so can I am a practicing CA, can I practice as an individual? Can I have a sole proprietorship? Yes. Yes, can I have a partnership firm? Right, can I have a partnership firm, 4 other partners, say all are CAs or majority are CAs, and then we provide the services, then do the stat audit of Growth Limited? Yes, that firm is allowed, right? That firm or partnership firm will be allowed, that firm would be allowed. Right, then after that, can I create an LLP with other CAs or members, majority of them are CAs, and then do the stat audit of Growth Limited? Yes. Right, can I create a company? Like Sparkle Limited, like I told you, Sparkle as an individual, then Sparkle and Company firm, then Sparkle and Company LLP. Now I'm saying Sparkle Limited, right? And through a company, can I do the audit of a company? Through a company, like I created my company, and through my company I am a CA, I created a company, and now through my company I'm doing the audit of other companies. No, company law के qualification में ही नहीं है. कंपनी लॉ के क्वालिफिकेशन में क्या बताया गया है कि सीए, इंडिविजुअल, फर्म और एलएलपी. बॉडी कॉर्पोरेट कैन नॉट डू द ऑडिट ऑफ अ बॉडी कॉर्पोरेट. It has to be individual, firm or LLP. Right, so that is what section 25 says, that company is not to engage in the accountants. No company. You cannot have a company form of the organization. Okay, right. Can an LLP be appointed to do the practice? Can an LLP do the practice? Can they be appointed as an auditor of a company? Yes. But say this LLP has a company as a partner. So one of the partner of the LLP is a company. Okay, there are 10 partners. Out of that 10, 9 are individual human beings and one is a company partner in the LLP. Then that LLP also cannot be appointed as an auditor of a company if it has a company as a partner. So it should only have the individuals as the partner. If it has a company as a partner, it cannot be appointed as an auditor of a company. Clear to all of you? Right? Company is not to engage in accountancy. No company, whether incorporated in India or elsewhere, shall practice as a chartered accountant. The term company shall include any LLP which has a company as its partner. Right? So if there is a company, LLP, which is having a company as a partner, even that LLP will not be allowed. But the LLP doesn't have any company as a partner, then that LLP can be appointed to do the audit. If any company contravenes this provision without prejudice to any other proceedings which may be taken, right? What does it say? Punishable with fine 1,000 and subsequent conviction 5,000. Right. Then making a reference to section 141 subsection 2, that is the qualifications of the company auditor. A firm include an LLP. Only those partners who are chartered accountants, right? So LLPs are allowed to be appointed as an auditor, right? However, it cannot be engaged in practice if it has a company as its partner. So it can be inferred that company not having any, that LLP not having any company as a partner can be engaged into practicing and thus take the audit assignments. Clear, everyone? You follow what I say? Company is not to engage in accountancy. Okay, right. Is it clear to all of you? Practicing, yes, company is not to engage in accountancy. Through corporate form, you cannot do the, through a body corporate, you cannot do the audit of a body corporate. Yes, audits not allowed over there. Okay. Can a practicing CA provide management consultancy and other services? I want to do management consultancy. I showed you the list of 28 points over there. Can a practicing CA provide that? Yes, we just studied, deemed to be in practice. Okay. So now, can I provide these management consultancy and other services as an individual, CA Sparkle? Can I provide it as an individual? Yes. Can I provide it through my firm, Sparkle and Company? Yes. Can I provide it through my LLP, Sparkle and Company LLP? Yes. Right. So MCOS, can I provide it through individual firm LLP? Yes. My, stat audit, tax audit, my traditional practice. This is my consultancy work and this is my traditional work like stat audit, tax audit, assurance services, right? All that. Can I do it through as an individual? Yes. So now let me write it probably this way, right? So one is my traditional practice, that is the stat audit, tax audit, assurance work, whatever. It's just examples I'm giving you. And then other is my consultancy work. Okay. Now, can I do my stat audit consultancy work as an individual? Yes. Can I do it through a firm? Yes. Can I do it through an LLP? Yes. And for the purpose of providing the management consultancy and other services, not for stat tax audit, not for my traditional practice, only for the purpose of providing the management consultancy and other services, now CAs are allowed to create a MCC. What is MCC? Management Consultancy Company. It is given in the chapter number 17 of the Council General Guidelines, right? The Management Consultancy Company, right? This is again a new, provision which has come under the CA law. Earlier, this was not there, right? But through management consultancy company, can I do my traditional practice? No. Through MCC, only MCOS. Simple. Right. So now CA is creating a company, Sparkle Limited. Now CA is creating a company. Through this company, can he do the practice, his traditional practice? No. But can he do the management consultancy and other services? Yes. Can I continue to do that through my individual firm LLP also? Yes. But can I constitute a company also for that? Yes. Can CA become the whole-time director, the managing director or the manager of this management consultancy company? Yes. Can CA along with his relative hold full equity of this management consultancy company? Yes. Can CA continue with his traditional practice along with this management consultancy company? Yes, he can continue with his traditional practice as an individual firm or LLP. Can he continue to train the articles also though he is having a consultancy company? Yes. Right? Though he is having a consultancy company, can he continue to train the articles under his under his traditional practice? Yes. Okay. So now through my firm, I am doing the stat audit of Growth Limited. Through my firm. So what's my firm name? Sparkle and Company. I am doing the stat audit of Growth Limited. And say I have a MCC also, Management Consultancy Company. And through my MCC, I do the investment advisory for Growth Limited. Is it allowed? Because see, right, I am Sparkle and Company. I am doing the stat audit of Growth Limited. So I cannot do the 144 services of growth limited. I cannot do prohibited services like actuarial services. Then I say, okay, let my Sparkle Limited, which is my management consultancy company, MCC, let that do the actuarial services. It says no. Even through your management consultancy services, you cannot provide the prohibited service. You can't eat like this, you can't eat like this also. Clear? Now you say, okay, through my firm I cannot provide, so then I will provide it through my consultancy company. ऐसा तो नहीं चलेगा, and that won't be allowed. The advertisement guidelines and solicitation guidelines, will it also be applicable to the management consultancy company? Yes, it will also be applicable. This management consultancy company, do you need to get the name approved from ICAI? Yes. Do you need to register it with ICAI? Yes. Any change in the constitution, do you need to inform it to ICAI? Yes. Right. So just quickly over here, I come to the chapter 17 of the council guidelines. Right. I come to the chapter 17 of the council guidelines, right? It's there at the end of the chapter, right? Page number 19.118, right? So you can just write down the chapter 17 guidelines for COP along with section 224, right? Section 224, like management consultancy, other services. For that, you can create a MCC, that is a management consultancy company, right? Will you please read it? Right? Read it for yourself, because the same thing I've discussed with you. Yes, read it. The council decided, right? I'm trusting you. That's that you are reading it. 224. अरे वाह, अब भी पढ़ा ना 224. मजाक. Oh. Right, so one of the student name is Raj Nandini MG. So how nice it will look, no? CA Raj Nandini, it will look so nice. You'll be so happy that day, the day the prefix CA comes. Everybody will be happy, but yeah. Yes. Read. Engage exclusively in rendering the MCOS permitted by the council under section 224 and complies with the condition. The members can retain full-time COP besides being the MD, WTD or the manager of such MCC. There will be no restriction on the quantum of equity holding by the members individually or along with his relatives. Such members shall be regarded as being in full-time practice and continue to do their attest function in the individual capacity or partnership firm in which capacity they practice and entitled to train the article. The name of the consultancy company is to be approved by the institute, and it also has to be registered with the institute. It may be clarified that no audit practice can be done in corporate firm. So through my management consultancy company, can I do the stat audit of growth limited? No. Through my management consultancy company, can I do the stat audit? No. I've already made that chart. No. Okay. Through the your traditional practice, individual firm, LLP. MCC, no. MCC, MCOS. You understand that? Okay. Right. No audit practice. The consultancy practice hitherto earlier done in the individual or firm status alone is now intended to be permitted in corporate form also. Only the consultancy practice, not your audit practice, not your assurance practice. Right. So once the management consultancy company is registered with the institute as per the guidelines, you need to follow the following requirements. Right. Not accept the internal audit, bookkeeping or other assignments. I told you, no. If I am doing the stat audit of growth limited through my firm, then through my consultancy company, can I provide the 144 services? No. Then ceiling on non-audit fee is applicable to MCC. What is the ceiling on non-audit fee? We'll see it in one of the other guidelines later. And obviously it has to comply with the clause 6 and 7. So we are yet to see the clause 6 and 7. It is regarding the advertisement and solicitation and advertisement. Right. Read question number 1. Why they've made a reference to clause 11? Later on, when you read the entire thing, then these things will make like more correlated. But basically the question is for management consultancy company. One of his friends has informed him that he cannot retain full-time COP, thus cannot do a test function and train article assistant. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and schedules thereto. Right? So what does it say? 11 is about what all you can do along with your CA practice. But we know that CA in practice are allowed to create a management consultancy company for rendering the management consultancy and the other services. The name has to be approved and it has to be registered with the institute, right? And you can retain your COP and also continue to train the articles, right? Thus the action of CAR is valid, right? And the complaint of the friend is not valid, right? So one of the friend informed, right? So that is not valid. Right, clear to all of you? So are you able to relate? Later on when I come to the other council guidelines, I will be telling you that this MCC guidelines, I've already discussed it with you along with section 224. Right, fair enough? Right, clear to all of you? Okay, right, so let's proceed more further. Right, let's move on further over there in our discussion. Right, what all have we discussed so far today? Right, we completed with the disabilities for membership and then associate and fellow member, then significance of the COP. And okay, you cannot practice in any capacity separate from your capacity to practice as a member of the institute. Then when your name will be removed from the register of member, then when it will be restored into the register of members. Okay, right, then after that, members who are deemed to be in practice. Right, then penalty for falsely claiming to be a member, right? Then companies not to engage in the accountancy. And now next point which we come to over there is section 7. Little bit of section 7 we'll discuss right now, and later on when we come to one of the clauses, that is clause 7, we'll have more elaborate discussion on section 7. But right now just a briefing of section 7. Right, section 7. Right, so all of you, we've completed with section 2.2, members who are deemed to be in practice. We've completed with section 25, companies not to engage in accountancy, right? Apart from where we now saw that management consultancy company allowed for MCOS. Now we come to section 7, which is regarding the members to be known as chartered accountants, right? Members to be known as chartered accountants, right? So can you tell me the name of any CA firm or the name of the firm where you are doing your articleship, regarding how the name of your firm is written and what is written after the name of your firm or something, right? If you could tell me, right, okay, what's the name of the firm and what is written, like, after the name of the firm. You could have seen the letterhead or the signboard which is put in your CA firm over there, right? Or whenever any client documents are being sent, address wherever it is mentioned, how the name is mentioned of the CA firm. Yes, how and what is the name? I'm so excited to know which CA firms are you doing your articleship from. Yes. Okay. Okay. MK Sultania and Company. Okay. And after the and company, is there something written over there? After MK Sultania and Company, is there something written after that? Yeah. Yes, is there anything written after that? That's the name of the firm. And then after the name of the firm, what is written over there? Yes, ends with the word and company. Okay, right? So yeah, and company. Okay. So and company. Yeah. and associates. You can also use the and associates over there. And then after that, you see that it's written, say, ABC and company, right? ABC and company. This company doesn't mean company as such, right? It is the, what do you say, individual or firm or LLP. If it's a company, it's an limited, right? LTD is written. Okay, right? So, and Sajil and Associates LLP. Okay, so there is an LLP, right? And then Chartered Accountant FCA, ma'am. Okay, right? So Chartered Accountant FCA. Okay, right? So say like if it is ABC and company, after the firm name, generally they write after the firm name. See, I'm not talking about the individual. Individual, I already told you yesterday. Okay, before the name of the individual, the prefix CA is written, and then the name of the CA is written, and then depending upon whether he is ACA or FCA, accordingly it is written. I'm not talking about the individual. I'm talking about the firm name. Right, so firm name ABC and company, and after the name of the firm they write down Chartered Accountants. Right, Chartered Accountants. Right, so members to be known as Chartered Accountants. Have you seen any CA firm where it is written ABC and company tax consultants? Or ABC and company legal advisors? Say it's a CA firm and this is what they are writing. Or ABC and company financial advisors. Or they are writing ABC and company chartered accountants, comma tax consultants or GST consultants. Say, let me put it that way. GST consultants. Have you seen it like this for any CA firm? You know, they say that we are tax consultants, we are GST consultants, we are legal advisors, we are financial advisors, or we are chartered accountants and we are GST consultants. No, what does it say? Section 7, members to be known as chartered accountants. Nothing in addition thereto, listen to my words, nothing in addition thereto. So in addition to saying that you are a CA, you cannot add anything else, or nothing in substitution thereof. Okay? Instead of writing chartered accountants, you are writing that you are tax consultants or your legal advisors. Nothing in addition thereto or nothing in substitution thereof. Members to be known as chartered accountants. Simple. Right? Members to be known as chartered accountants. You cannot write like, you know, chartered ABC and company stat auditors or tax consultants or tax advisors. No. Members to be known as chartered accountants. Nothing in addition thereto or nothing in substitution thereof. But nowadays I told you that CAs are allowed to form the MDP, the multidisciplinary partnership. So in that case, what they will write? ABC and company, chartered ABC and company, MDP of CAs in practice. Right? MDP, that it's a multidisciplinary partnership of CAs in practice. Right? So they'll specify. But now, right now, what was more relevant for us is ABC and company chartered accountants. Right? Nothing in addition thereto or nothing in substitution thereof. Are you getting that? Okay. Right. Can a CA in practice also write after his name, right, that he is a cost accountant? So I write CAA, ACA, and after that I write down that cost accountant, right, after the name of the CA. Now, after the name of the CA, now a firm name I've already told you, nothing in addition thereto, nothing in substitution thereof. Now I'm talking about the CA. Right, after his name, can he write that he is a cost accountant? Can he write that he is a member of parliament? Can he write that he is a leader of a political party? Right, can he write so on his professional documents? He is representing client before the tax authorities. So after his name, can he write that he is a corporate lawyer? Right, can he write I am a corporate lawyer, I am CA so and so and I am a corporate lawyer? No, 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 no. Then you say, ma'am, I have done CMA. So you done CMA, to write ACMA or FCMA, na, associate or fellow. Why you are writing cost accountant? That's not the degree given to you by that institute. The degree given to you is ACMA, CMA. And so write that. Don't write cost accountant. You understand? No. You Can I write, if I've cleared my cost accountancy exam, can I write that I am a CMA? Yes, that you can write because it's recognized by the council. But can I write that I'm a cost accountant? No, that is not recognized. That's not the degree which is given to you. You understand that? Can I become a member of parliament? Yes. Can I mention in my professional documents that I'm a member of parliament? No. Can I be a corporate lawyer? Yes. Can I represent client before the authorities? Yes. But can I mention that I am a corporate lawyer on my professional documents? No. I'd say I've done my BCom, MCom. I have a degree of a university established by law in India. Is that allowed to be given? Yes, that is allowed by the council. So MCom, BCom, all of those allowed. You understand that, right? MCom, BCom, university of degree established by law. Is that allowed to be given? Yes, that would be allowed to be given. Right? I am a practicing CA. Can I also practice as a company secretary or also practice as a cost accountant or also practice as an advocate? Say I've done my CA also, CS also, CMA also, LLB also. So can I practice in all these capacities? It says you can practice as a company secretary also, as a cost accountant also, as an advocate also, subject to the permission of the Bar Council. Just as for CA, you have the ICAI. For lawyers, they have the Bar Council of India. It's subject to the permission of the Bar Council. But it says these designations of CS, CMA, advocate, they cannot be used simultaneously. And so on one visiting card, I cannot write that, I am a chartered accountant also and we are company secretaries also. No. You cannot use the designation simultaneously. On my visiting card, I'm just writing after my name, my degrees, as CA so and then I'm writing I'm ACA, I am ACMA, I've done my BCom, MCom or whatever. Is that allowed to be given? Yes. But I'm writing it, like we are chartered accountants, we are company secretaries, we are cost accountants. No, it says that won't be allowed. You cannot, when you're practicing in these capacity, you cannot mention these degrees simultaneously. In your practice, as an individual, no problem. Right? But in your practice, you can practice. When you are a CA, you can also practice as a company secretary, as a cost accountant, as an advocate. But it says they have to be mentioned separate. Right? They cannot be used simultaneously. Right? Later on, I told you, right now I'm just giving you a briefing of section 7. Later on, I will come to clause 7. Coincidentally, it is section 7 also and clause 7 also, where we'll have a more elaborate discussion regarding these designations and description. Say I'm not using the designation CA. I say, though I am a CA, I don't want to use the designation CA. I don't want to write ACA. I don't want to write CA before my name. Then can I use any other description? Then can I say that I am a management consultant, I am a legal consultant, I am a legal advisor? It says, yeah. If you are not using the designation description CA, then you can use any other description designation. Unless and until you are, not in, so provided you are not in practice. Because if you are in practice, again, you have to say that you are chartered accountants. But I'm not in practice. I'm a member of the institute, but I'm not mentioning that I am a member of the institute. No CA, no ACA. Then can I say that I'm a management consultant, I'm a legal advisor, I'm a financial advisor? Can I say I'm an MJ, DJ, RJ, VJ? Yes. If you are not using the designation description CA, then you can use any other description. But if you use designation description CA, then there is restrictions on you. Then there is restriction. Then you cannot say cost accountant. Then you can say ACMA, provided you are a ACMA. You understand that? That is section 7. Members to be known as chartered accountants. So members in practice prohibited from using a designation other than CA. Right, so the members of the institute are permitted to use the word CA as prefix before their name, irrespective of whether they are in practice or not. Right, so always allowed to use the prefix CA. Designation other than that of CA. What does it say? A member in practice cannot use any designation other than that of CA, nor he can use any other description, whether in addition thereto or substitution thereof. But a member who is not in practice and does not use the designation may use any other description. Right? So once you are a CA, nothing in addition thereto or nothing in substitution thereof. But if you are not using the designation description CA, then you can use any other description. Is it clear? Okay, right. Then can members in practice or members of the institute also become directors in a company? Can become directors of companies? Yes, we'll be coming that CAs in practice, you can also become the directors of company. Can you be the members of political parties or CA cells in political parties or hold different positions in the club, like say treasurer or so? It says yes, but are you allowed to become a director in a company? Yes. Are you allowed to become a member of a political party? Yes. But are you allowed to mention it on your professional documents? No. Not permitted to mention these positions, as these would be violative of the provisions of section 7. Right. A member cannot designate himself as a cost accountant. He can use the letters ACMA, FCMA after his name when he is the member of that institute. Then members are permitted to mention membership of the foreign institute, like say the CPA Ireland or England and Wales or South African Institute or Australian Institute, provided the council has either entered into an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, or a mutual recognition agreement with such institute. Right? There is a list of institutes, with which the ICAI has entered into, foreign accountancy bodies, where ICAI has entered into a memorandum of understanding or a mutual recognition agreement. Right? So if that has been entered into, then it says CA, you can mention so on your documents. Like if you see on the ICAI website, right? Yesterday we had seen regarding these membership, right? You have the members and then the council guidelines over there. Right, the courses offered by the ICAI, the examination for the members, right? So they have the what other exams can be written and what additional, as some there you get an exemption from writing some of the papers, and however some of the only few of the papers you need to write over there, right? So wherever the foreign accountancy bodies where institute has entered into the recognition agreement, right? So it's a special examination for members of foreign accountancy bodies with whom ICAI has entered into a mutual recognition agreement or a memorandum of understanding, right? So like it says CPA Australia, CPA Ireland, CPA Canada, right? Then the South African Institute, England and Wales and so. Right, so this is the list of the institutes, right? So anyways, it's not covered, but yeah, there are. And then if you, in addition to being, so even those members, they get an exemption for some papers and they can become a member of ICAI, and ICAI members, you get an exemption for some papers and you can become a member of those institutes where ICAI has entered into a mutual recognition agreement or a memorandum of understanding. Right, then can a CA mention on his professional document that he is a CPA? No, because the degree which ICAI gives you is CA. CPA is the degree which you get it from US, right? The American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, right? So in case if you happen to do your CPA, then you have to mention CPA USA. Right? Because as such, Indian CAs are not allowed to use the designation CPA, right? And CSCMA, can they also practice as CSCMA? Yes, but they cannot use the designation simultaneously, right? They cannot use the designation simultaneously. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, right? So that is section 7. What is section 7? Members to be known as chartered accountants, prohibited from using any other designation. Nothing in addition thereto or nothing in substitution thereof. Right, we are reaching the end of our initial discussion. I told you na, main core to chapter ka is in the 34 clauses of ethics. But one by one, and we have to understand the technicalities over here. Listening? Yes? Yes, next one, very interesting. Ethics itself is interesting. Audit itself is interesting. And a CA final is so good. Becoming a chartered accountant is so good. Education is so good. You agree with me, right? It makes a difference, lot of difference. These few years, 10th, 12th, everybody studies. But after that, the professional degree which you pursue for next 4, 5, 6 years of your life determine how you spend the remaining 40 years of your life. And, it creates a lot of financial security and abundance and a lot of good contribution which you can make to the society and live a good life. Right? So education has a lot of power. Yes, everyone. Articleship हो गया. अभी तो 2 years articleship only, no, for new ones. 3 years was nice, but maybe they could have made it 2.5 at least. Because I agree, out of 3 years, like 6 months used to go and leave, or 4 months used to go and leave. So, but they thought, okay, 2 years is enough. So, okay. Changes keep coming over there. But you guys were the ones in the big dilemma, because for you, your exams were like coming up, and then the new syllabus was on its way. So a lot of anticipation. You couldn't start your preparations. You had cleared your inter. Your articleship was already started, and then you were the people who were in the greatest dilemma over there, right? But now okay, you are the inaugural, what you say, functionaries of the new, like the syllabus of the ICAI. Yes, everyone, let's come to the next section for our discussion over there, right? Section 27, right, which is regarding the maintenance of the branch offices, right? So I rather, you'll say, ma'am, it's not in your favor as such, but if you want, you can have another friend with you, provided you don't talk with that friend, and then the other friend only purchases the book, and notebook, and both of you only watch it through one video class. Even that would be, financially probably a good option if required. If it is required, then that can also be done, right? So whichever way, you have to study. Right, so now let's come to the next one over there, that is section 27, which is regarding the maintenance of the branch offices. Okay, branch office. Can a CA in practice have more than one office? Can I have 20 offices? Can I have 2 offices? Can I have 3 offices? Yes, can a CA in practice have more than one office? Yes. I'll not go ahead till the time I don't see an answer from you. Can I have 10 offices? Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Tiruvananthapuram. Yes, then say after that, Bangalore, right? Then say probably Pune, Aurangabad. Yes, Mangalore or Coimbatore, right? Can a CA in practice have more than one office? Yes. Yes, can you have n number of offices? Yes, you can have n number of the offices. Okay, right. How do you define an office of a CA? Okay, how you'll say, ma'am, see that office, CA office, huh? That is ma'am. How you say that? How you can identify, ma'am, see this 4 floor na, ye CA ka office hai. Ma'am, this C and R on our floor na, these 2 CA office over there. Right? How do you identify the office of a CA? Yes, wherever a name plate or a name board of the firm is used, fixed, right? And wherever the address is mentioned on the stationery of the CA firm, that defines the office of a CA. Right? So wherever a name plate or a name board of the firm is fixed, and wherever that address is used in the stationery of the CA firm, that is defined as the office of the CA. Right. So can a CA put a name plate outside, or a name board, whatever you call it, outside his office? Yeah, name board. Wonderful. Right. Can a CA put a name board outside his office? Right. So say this is my office, and outside my office, can I put a name board if I'm a practicing CA? Right. Outside my home, can I put a signboard? Right. So outside the residence and outside the firm, can the CA put the signboard? Right. Outside the residence, you can put the signboard of an individual CA. Right. Individual. That means what I can write? CAA, ACA. And outside my firm, I can write A and Company Chartered Accountants. Outside my home, can I write A and Company Chartered Accountants? No. Because what is the definition of office? Wherever a nameplate of the firm is fixed. So if I put A and Company outside my home will become an office. You understand that? So outside the residence, individual member nameplate. Outside the firm nameplate. But you say, ma'am, I'm having my office at my home only. Then put A and Company at home. Then no problem. If you are having office at home only, then you put it. Or you stay in your office only, then put it. Individual and firm name both together. But in case if its office and home is separate, then outside the home, individual member nameplate, CAA, ACA, FCA, and outside the firm, firm nameplate, A and Company Chartered Accountants. Are you understanding that? Right? Is it clear? Outside the residence, individual member nameplate, and outside the firm, it has to be the firm nameplate, right? So let's see one question which has been asked by the institute regarding the nameplate. Gautam. Right, read question number 1. Gautam, Mahavir, partners of a CA firm, one in charge of head office and another in charge of branch at a distance of 80 kilometers from the municipal limits, puts up a name board of the firm. Name board of the firm in both the premises, means in both the offices. Okay, in both the offices you're putting your firm name ka signboard, no problem. And also in their respective residences, problem. Outside the residence, firm nameplate, not allowed. Outside the residence, firm nameplate, not allowed. Outside the firm nameplate. Outside the residence, individual member nameplate. Who has said that? The Council of ICAI. Wherever the question comes, who has said so? Council of ICAI. Obviously, who are we to say? The council has to say. And the Council of ICAI has decided that with regard to the use of the name board, there will be no bar to the putting up of the name board in the place of residence of a member with the designation CA, provided it is the nameplate or a board of an individual member and not of the firm in the given case. And therefore, Gautam and Mahavir are guilty. And distance, 80 kilometer or 180 kilometers or 1800 kilometer, distance given in the question is not relevant for deciding. And distance given in the question is not relevant for deciding. Is it clear? Right? Is it clear to all of you? So definition of office, wherever a name board is fixed or such place is mentioned in the letterhead or any other document. And use of name board outside the residence, individual member nameplate, outside the firm, firm nameplate. Right? Clear to all of you? Right? Time for us to take a break. Right? Right? So we'll take a 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes break, and then after that we continue with the part B for our discussion. So we go to section 27, then some KYC norms, and then some disciplinary mechanism of the ICAI, which is going to be very interesting. And then after that, the introduction to the 2 schedules to the Chartered Accountants Act. Right, so fatafat, let's take a break, and then fatafat, let's